All right, it's 9:02. So sorry for the slight delays. And yeah, new mic time. Yeah, if you guys can hear, I've got a new mic. So without further ado, uh, welcome to our second Sunday podcast. We're having this podcast on every second Sunday of the month. And last podcast, we actually had Blue Eyes from Malaysia, who was our guest. Talking about coaches and stuff. So this week we actually have a really special guest, and some of you might know him. Most of you might actually know him, or pretty sure you guys should know him. He's a pretty popular streamer in our region. He's also represented his country in a lot of World Cups. In fact, almost every single World Cup. And before we move on into the introductions, this is organized by gamers like us. We are a group of friends, a group of players are trying to bring back the community in our local and regional community. So we are actually having different kinds of activities. We have pugs on a weekly basis, with a leaderboard that basically if you're the best pugger in terms of win rate and stuff, you get prizes. We have podcasts every second Sunday, and we also have role classes, to have the more casual players or players who want to know more about the role they're playing, to be able to understand and gain knowledge from players who have been there, players who have lots of experience. So we do have a lot of activities coming up still, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into introducing our guest for today. He's a very accomplished player, current streamer, and yeah, I'm gonna bring him up. And yeah, hello, Oputo.
Hello.
So I'm glad to have you here on this podcast. I'm really excited to have you here on this show. Personally, fan of yours because when 2016 onwards, Oputo. Wow. So it's really an honor to be able to have you on this show today. And so without further ado, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Okay, I'm Oputo. Yeah. Former like I used to play Overwatch professional like in 2016 to 2019, but right now I'm streamer most of the time. Yeah.
I see. So and like I said, big fan of Oputo here. So he has actually a lot of accomplishments, in our region and also representing our region in many numerous tournaments and stuff. However, we'll start off with, more of the basic questions that we have, some things that maybe people might know and might not know. So first question, why Oputo? Like, what is the meaning behind your IGN? Will it be simple or complicated? You know, what made you choose Oputo? Is there a history behind it?
It's it's very simple. Like in 2009, I play the state basketball online game named
Mm-hmm.
Freestyle, and my first character is named Put. It's my nickname. Yeah, it's my
Oh.
nickname. Yeah, my name is Put. But in open beta, I feel like this nickname is like it's too short.
Mm-hmm.
Some game cannot use like three word, right? Yeah.
Three
So I
letters. Yeah.
yeah. So I feel double like O in front and behind my nickname, and it
Ah.
become Oputo until now. Yeah.
Wow. So ever since 2009, right? Like the put
Yeah.
over there. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Long history behind your name. So you know, what like what brought you to Overwatch? You said that you started, playing a game in 2009. So what got you interested into Overwatch? Like what was the catch and how did it all begin?
Ah. Before I come to Overwatch, I play Counter Strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like broad to me. I get bored about
Mm.
CS:GO because it it the same thing like
Over and over again.
yeah, over and over again. So I
Mm.
want like fast-paced game because my favorite game in when I was young is Half-Life, not
Mm-hmm.
Counter Strike. So I
Ah.
like something that fast paced.
I see.
And when I come to play Overwatch, I focus on I want to be YouTuber and content creator in this game, not as professional.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
but
how did it, you know, jump over to being professional? Yeah.
because I want to be content creator, but I want to focus like to be the best player as a content creator. Like
Mm,
my content creator is about how to be the best players, how to play like a pro player. So
I
that's
see.
why I focus on like play at my best and how to improve myself and share my uh, experience to other people.
So
But
basically you want to be like, someone who, who give out content, how to be good at this,
yes,
teaching other players, with your past experiences. See,
yes, yes, that's why.
that's that's actually really cool. So like, having that mindset, going to this game, and all of a sudden, bam wham, you're at the top, of the region. And also, like, not like, even as a professional player, you're always, streaming and stuff, posting stuff on social media, which is really really cool. So, having said that, like, you wanted to have content that, would want to reach out to the players, how to be their best. Do you have something to say to, the viewers or the players in our region before we move on to the next segment of the show?
Mm, I think everyone can be the best, but you need to put a lot of effort. You need to like researching by yourself. You cannot like ask other people or ask other players all the time. If you want to be better than other people, you need to find your way. But
Mm.
before that, you need to ask someone that better than you first. How to get better, and you try to learn from that, and you find your own way. Not just follow other people. Follow if you keep follow other people, your skill pay will always follow.
Mm. I see. Okay, wow. Coming, like, I'm pretty sure over the years you have received, so many questions about this. Hey Oputo, how to be good at this? How do I aim better than that? What's your sense? And stuff like that. So, being able to find your own way, your own growth, in certain areas will help you better, as a player, help you grow in your own pace, in your own style. So that's really awesome to hear. So I'm just gonna take a quick look at chat right now. Uh, Hold on, I'm gonna bump up your mic a little, and yeah. So uh, big fan. Okay. So there's nothing really much from chat right now. So we're gonna move on to uh to the next segment, which will be talking about more of your your career and experiences in the past 5 years. So before I move on, do you have anything unique, in the past 5 years that's happened to you? Something that's really memorable in terms of your career. You know,
Mm. I think it's the first year of World Cup and when I joined Talon. Yeah,
first year World Cup. That's 2016, right?
yeah.
Okay, so with that going in, we actually have some stuff I actually pulled out from 2016. So World Cup and stuff. Not easy because a lot of those were like either deleted on Twitch, or they are just like 1 hour long clips on YouTube. So we actually start off talking about your career in the World Cup. As everyone knows, you have played in every iteration of the World Cup representing your country. However, like, what struck like to you the most, and also me personally, was actually the 2016 World Cup, because everyone was new to the game. Everyone was like, "Oh, what's this game? What's that game? What is the best way to play this game?" And then, wow, a World Cup appeared, and then everyone was flown over to contest. So yeah, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna bring up some. I'm gonna turn off the music right now. We're gonna bring up some clips of the World Cup right now, and one of it, I think some of you might know, but this is actually one of the more memorable moments that was remembered in the first World Cup. So let's take a look.
not sure about how I felt about that one, but again, this team's looking really good. We know what Mickey's capable of. I think KFC, look at him, he's loving it. These guys, how can you not love this team?
Oh, Thailand, I hope you go all the way. You're amazing.
So basically, to those who do not know about this, basically in the first World Cup, Thailand, the team Thailand had this one moment where everyone was like, "This team is full of smiles. This team is having fun on stage." So Oputo, being part of that experience, could you tell us more about like what really went on? Like behind that clip, for example.
I think it's about personality. I think because we just want to be like friendly to everyone. So I think smile is the best thing we can do at that moment. That's why I think.
I see. So like uh actually when that thing when you guys were on stage, having so much fun, just being yourselves, like this caused a huge, I won't say uproar, like, but this was so impactful for so many people because when you come to a World Cup, you come to a really serious, event and stuff like that, everyone will be like, oh, everyone's gonna be, sweaty, everyone's gonna be like just full intense on, but Team Thailand really stood out as like, the team that's just being there, a group of friends, who want to play to their best abilities, to wow everyone and also have fun on stage. So I think that really stood out uh a lot. And like you talked about, 2016 World Cup being one of your most memorable World Cups. Do you have like, are there certain moments, during the whole event that really struck out to you, like to like, wow, okay, so 2016 World Cup, one of the best moments of my life? Do you have anything, in mind?
I think it's the best memory because it's my first time outside my country. I think that's why.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
I never go outside Thailand before, and I meet a lot of players that I love when I'm watching them playing. Yeah, like for example, it's Taimo, Jofo. Yeah, a lot of players that I love. I meet them in World Cup, so I feel like this World Cup is like the best memory in my life.
I see. And then, look at young Oputo over there. That's like wow, 5 years. 5 years ago. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Oh, wow. So we actually do have a bonus clip. I'm from Singapore, and what better way to move on from this segment is to show how our team got demolished in this one particular fight that I would like to bring up. Let's see.
And they have to make this work because the longer they wait, the closer the 5 volts come out to Thailand. Here we go. All right, nano boost onto Oputo, who's trying to get the machine gun doing work, and then the flashbang for the kill on Nicole. That was brutal. Goodbye, doubted, and I never doubted for a second.
Like personally, like I think for the first World Cup, so many people actually like tuned in because wow, every single country or almost every single country is being invited overseas. So like I remember seeing this moment right before my eyes because like Singapore, oh, Team Singapore, or like other countries will be rooting for their own countries, but like there's one part inside of me back then I was like, Thailand, full Singapore, let's go. But yeah, like I think 2016's World Cup was very memorable for a lot of us because like it's a new game. Some of us having new experiences, first time playing games like that, and then being able to see your own country and even like people you admire from other countries playing on the world stage together. Comparing skills. Like you probably will never see like Team Canada playing, like for example, let's say Team Korea, for example, since they're like halfway across the world. But 2016 World Cup really made that happen. I think it's also the only World Cup that brought everyone to LA, right? If I'm not wrong. Like other World Cups, they're all to like Poland, other stations and stuff like that. But this World Cup was really the World Cup that united everyone in one area. So I think like even as a viewer, that was actually also one of the more memorable moments to me. So I'm really happy that you actually enjoyed it. I'm actually very jealous that you got to experience that, because like not many people will be able to have that experience in their life. So that's really really awesome. So, moving on to our next topic is that everyone knows that you joined Team Talon in Pacific Contenders. Talon was one of the most, in fact, the most dominant Pacific team we have seen up till today, which isn't a full Korean roster. So, like, I'm gonna actually play one of your interviews from Talon before we move on, because yeah, it's like team content and stuff like that. So for people to actually understand, really what went behind uh being in the overseas team, and then we'll move on to all your experiences, about the lifestyles, as a player, being able to go overseas and stuff. So yeah, moving on.
Outside of my gaming life, the important thing for me is keeping my body and my mindset to be healthy. Exercise is make my body get ready for a day and keep my body healthy. Meditation make me clean and clear my mind, so I can learn anything, something new in the morning. I keep my mindset to be like the right mindset to be a good player, a good person. My name is Oputo. I am a professional player Overwatch for Talon Esports. My role is DPS.
Okay, so Obuto, could you tell us some of your experiences with Talon Esports? Being an overseas team. Like for example, let's say your lifestyles. How it different. Like how, since you have played on so many teams in the past, 5 years. Like, could you share like some experiences that were more unique with Talon?
Uh, I, I, I don't think it's, it's too unique compared to when I play for Mega Esports, because like I feel like I always play with other region players in my team,
Mm.
except 2016, because 2016 is like full Thai team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in 2017, I play with American players and Korean players.
I see.
Yeah, and I feel like it the same thing. Not nothing new for me when I joined Talon.
Mm.
Uh,
Uh.
they work hard, but I think the the new culture that I saw when I joined Talon is about like, if you have like personal performance issue, like coach gonna call you out and like need to have has a meeting 1v1. I think that's why.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see. So you talked about being playing in numerous teams that have like other players from different countries. However, in like for Talent Esports, if I remember, the rendition, like the version that you guys had was, you guys had Gogora, you guys had Muse, and
Mm.
then you guys had Patipan, you, Bashful, and then Mango Jai and CQB. So that's like I think four countries
Yeah.
of players. So like, how was it like living with players from so many different countries? Do you guys have any difficulties? Let's say communication, maybe food preference. One person likes spicy, one person doesn't like spicy, something like that. Were there any differences or difficulties living with them, or is there anything unique that you enjoyed, like living with them under one roof?
I think the difficulty is about how we want to fix the problem together, because
Mm.
uh when you want to fix something in game, right,
Mm-hmm.
it had a lot of like details, but most of us can just conversation
Mm.
in English, but we cannot like uh talk a lot of details into that. So everything is always simple when we play the game together. We cannot like have super tactic or like super secret tactic.
Mm.
Everything need to be like simple and structure. Yeah.
Mm. So everything had to be really to the point, like, for example, if let's say you're playing strats, they cannot be like, oh, if I'm gonna charge, I'm gonna pull, at this moment and stuff like that. It's probably just, direct and straightforward, right? Like I pull,
Yeah.
you throw, and something like that. Okay, that's interesting. Uh so like, do you guys have like any differences in terms of lifestyle? For example, let's say like one person snores louder, one person has certain, like things that you guys are not used to, you know is there anything interesting that you think you can share? Nothing to intrude their personal space, but like something memorable. Like, for example, let's say if certain player that you should not name, has a bad habit or something like that. Like, do you guys come across these kind of scenarios where you have to learn to live with him?
Mm, I never had this problem before, but I think Arachne, the coach, he have some problem with some players. Yeah,
Oh.
but I never have about like I never have problem like this
Mm.
problem. I never. Yeah.
I see. So, uh, understand like one of understand that you were probably the more senior player in your team. Am I right? Like, compared to the other players, I think a lot of them were like under 18, and stuff like
Ashful
that,
and me is the same age.
same age.
Yeah.
So like being, in terms of, age, being the oldest, the big brother, uh, you know, how do you guys handle the team, in terms of, let's say, maybe morale, if you guys were, handling it, how do you guys try to keep the team together, probably as from like a big brother kind of
Mm,
position? Or do you come across any, like, any issues trying to keep the team together?
oh, I don't think that the age is matter in this team.
Mm,
Like I feel like all of us is feel like teammate and friend.
mm,
Yeah, we don't like treat them like younger brother. We
mm.
treat them all like a friend and teammate.
I see.
Yeah, so we can talk straight without like mind each other. I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see. So, like, we've talked about, having teammates from different regions and stuff like that. But now, I'd like to talk about being in teams instead of players from different regions. I like to talk about, playing in teams from different regions. So, like, I understand you have actually played also in OCE. You have
Mm.
played in, Pacific, but, more towards Thai team members. Is there any, differences between the lifestyle, like what these team does, like their scrim habits? Is there any difference between the intensities of the team? For example, let's say, uh, Talons probably scrims more intensively than this other team and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm. I don't think it's we have like special scrim schedule or something because uh we got a lot of good opponents scrimmage
Mm-hmm.
after we won contenders and we got like fourth in Pacific Showdown. Yeah,
Mm.
but in the first season of contenders we didn't get like a lot of good scrimmage
Mm.
because other team like a lot of good player in Korean they didn't like accept us as a good team.
Mm.
They thought we are just Pacific team and don't have like we cannot make them a good practice, so they
Mm.
didn't like accept our book scrim.
I see.
Yeah, but after
So,
Pacific Showdown, everything is got a lot of better after that.
mm,
Yeah.
I think it's, like, I think everyone kind of agrees that, when you talk about Overwatch teams, Pacific usually on the paper, would be, the the least stronger region compared to the other regions. So I think like one of the stereotypes that you guys had to face, was not being able to get scrim partners because they're Pacific team, and understanding, having scrim Korean teams, they'll be like, I probably wouldn't want to scrim, a Pacific team because why not when I can scrim a Korean team. But I think that you guys popping off in tournaments, after getting fourth place, really changed. In fact, yeah, it actually pretty much changed a lot of the what do you call it, the impressions that Pacific players have. Like I think before Talon was a thing, I don't think it was very possible for any Pacific teams to actually book scrims with Koreans. Like, cause I've played in teams as well. A lot of the times Pacific teams will scrim with Pacific teams. Usually, am I right? So like I
Yes.
think after Talon came out as one of the strongest teams Pacific ever has, and then like I think after your performances with the team, you know Pacific teams have like found it easier to actually get Korean scrim partners. In fact, like we don't really have difficulty finding scrim partners in Korea after the age of Talon. So I think that's really an awesome thing that you guys have actually done for us. And I don't think many people actually like would like say it, but I think this really pushed Pacific forward as a region. It made more things. Talent broke the stereotype for Pacific teams in general, and I think that's a really 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 awesome thing coming from a team. And yeah, so having played in so many teams, having played with so many players, what was the most impactful memory or the most memorable thing you have done throughout your whole 5 years? What's that one crucial moment that you think this is my career, this is Overwatch?
Mm, I think it's 2016 again when I qualified to World Cup. I think.
Mm.
Yeah, that is the best memory in my life. Just qualify to that. Like I never forget about it. But when I go play in World Cup, I didn't like remember every single moment in there. But I only remember about how I qualified to World
Mm.
Cup.
So it's basically is that like you made it to the world stage, that moment that
Yeah.
really like struck to you. Is like, all right, this is it. This is the thing that's gonna be in my memories for for months, years, and days to come. So uh 2016 World Cup, awesome. You guys brought out the Pacific region as you guys were pretty much the most outstanding Pacific team in the World Cup. With all the smiles, with your play styles, everyone was popping off. You guys, you know, after that coming over to Talon, pushing once again pushing the Pacific region forward. With your impressive plays, bringing the name Talon and Pacific to a bigger stage in our region. So you had a really awesome career. I think you made a really really impactful career for the Pacific region, and possibly even for the years to come. Let's say Overwatch 2, who knows? So I think on behalf of like a lot of the older players that might not have been touching the game anymore, all the newer players, I would just like to thank you first and foremost that for helping Pacific grow to what it is today. Even though we do not have contenders now, but you know from compared to 2016 to now, I think like the respect for Pacific players definitely went up, and yeah, you're definitely a part of that. So first off, I have to like thank you first, and so yeah, so talking about you, be having played from 2016 all the way to now, you're considered pretty much an OG player, or some people like say the uncle or the boomer player now, So, do you have anything to say to the younger players, those who are just starting out the game, maybe they're the first year in, first few months in, do you have any tips, a boomer tip for them, to play the game more or stuff like that? What's the one
Mm,
key that you would tell them?
I think you need to have like the learning skill that like you need to keep learning if you want to be the best. Like the reason why I can be like a player who represent Thai team and join a lot of team is I think it's about how I'm learning Overwatch because Overwatch is changing all the time since
Mm.
since start, right? We have low Q in like 2019, but before than that we didn't have like something like this. So we need to keep learning, and the meta is keep changing. So we cannot like, if you want to be Overwatch player, you cannot tell yourself that I can only play this character. If you think like that, and if you talk to yourself like that, you it is not good for you. Yeah, you need to keep changing, follow the game all the time. If you don't know how to improve yourself, and if you don't know what is the problem, what you need to improve first, you can like come to my Twitch and like ask me to review your like replay or something. Like I always review out my chat replays, so they know how to improve themselves as a player. Yeah,
I see. So
because it's really tough for us because we only like small region, right? And we didn't have like veteran player who give advice to newcomer. So I feel like this is the best thing I can do right now for our community. So don't mind to come to my Twitch if you stuck. Yeah.
emotional. So so basically, guys, don't be a one trick. Don't be a one trick. So if you guys, need any help, in reviews and stuff, Oputo has already, put himself out there. Feel free to drop over to his stream. Whenever he's streaming, follow him. He is a great player, a lot of experience, and I think you'll be able to learn a lot from him. If you guys are starting up, you have any questions and stuff like that, I think he'll be of great help. And so we're gonna move on from talking about your career and experiences to more of the more casual questions. So one of it is, it's almost 2022, and we all know that Overwatch League next year, April, is rumored to be playing on Overwatch 2, which is a 5v5. So do you have any expectations for Overwatch 2? Do you have any, or maybe I wish this hero would be better, I wish they could improve this part of the game. Do you have anything for Overwatch 2?
I just want Overwatch 2 to be like more casually friendly. But because right now it's too hard for newcomer and it's too hard for some players to play this game. Yeah, compared to like in 2016, we play this game like casually, but we still can focus in like to be professional at the same time. But right now we need to like do everything seriously to be professional. It's not fun at all, and I don't mean it's not fun. I mean like it's just too stressful, I think. Yeah.
So basically,
I just want like newcomer to enjoy this game more, and I just want casual player can play this game without like stressful. Yeah.
So like what you said, Overwatch. I think Overwatch in 2016 was just Ryan, Zarya, Lucio Zen, and then any other two DPS players. Then when Ana came out, just Beyblade, Reaper, Ana. It's very simple. But now, like if you want to be very good at Overwatch, you have to know what's two shield, what's ball zen, what's dive. It's getting very, how to say, I think for Overwatch now it's a very experience based kind of game where you need to know a lot in order to be able to play it very well. You just can't be like, I just play this hero, I'm good, I'll be the number one. Now you have to know how to do this, how to do that, what to play, what not to play. I think even though it's a very unique part of Overwatch, but like what you said, for newer players who come in For example, let's say he wants to try Overwatch. He has good aim from CS:GO, for example, and then all of a sudden, if he wants to go beyond Masters, he has to know what is double shield, what's ball zen, what's double bubble, what's and stuff like that. I think it's really tough for newer players to come in, and I think that's also one of the reasons why Overwatch for these few years have been like slowly decreasing, because it gets harder and harder for people to try. And I don't think, and also don't think, like having this kind of game where you need a lot of, like I said, you have to do things seamlessly in order to win a game. So that kind of also very brings out a toxic you know uh behavior in a lot of players, because oh, you can't do this right, or you can't do that right, rank gap, whatever gap, so newer players will kind of get like put off by all this kind of thing. So they will be like, oh, I'm new, I don't want to get PM'd on because I don't know how to play this. So I think, like Overwatch 2 really has to step it up. I think they're removing an off tank, if I'm not wrong, the off tank role. So basically now you have one tank. So I think, like, what do you think about that? Like having one tank in the next meta, in the next version of the game.
I think the game is more like freedom for me. I feel like it will be feel like Overwatch in 2016, because we only have only one shield, and I feel like DPS gonna be one of the most influenced roles in the game.
Mm.
Yeah, because we can walk and shoot other people all the time compared to Overwatch right now. I feel like Overwatch right now is not fun, because a lot of things we try to do to work on is it just useless. You know what I mean? Like it just
Yeah.
up the late. Yeah,
Yes,
like shield, defense metric, something like that. Is no open area for players to like feel like, oh, this is reward for me. Yeah,
yes, it's true. Like at the beginning, it was just Ryan or Winston. At most it was two shields, and then
yeah,
now you have, you know, Orisa, Ryan, Sigma, Winston. They have all these kind of heroes coming out, and then, like what you said, I think Overwatch 2, having one tank, they finally will be able. Your guys will be able to play DPS as damage per second rather than damage per shield. I think so. Even though they're removing one role, which is basically one less player, for example. But I think as a whole, it will pretty much improve the game, because DPS players will be like finally be able to play the game that they want to play, and not feel pressured by shield, matrix, immortality, and everything else that basically makes this game not an FPS. So I
yeah.
think I think uh I think that's one thing to look forward to. So
I feel like support is gonna be more FPS too. Yeah, I feel
true.
like they need to do a lot of damage in Overwatch 2, and tank getting
Mhm.
buff is interesting, because I feel like tank cannot getting buff more than this, because it's about their strategy. No, there's synergy. Yeah,
Mm,
there's synergy. Because if good tank and good tank synergy is gonna be overpowered, right?
that's
So
true.
if they remove synergy of tank, they can make like powerful only one tank.
But
Yeah,
not be super broken
yeah.
and stuff like that.
But
True.
I don't think this is gonna friendly to people who play open queue and classics Overwatch, because
True.
tank getting buff. If a lot of player picking tank,
Oh,
I feel like it's gonna be broken. Yeah,
yeah, true. Man, talking about open queue, like if Overwatch 2 comes out with super buff tanks, I think everyone's gonna be picking tank in open queue.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's gonna be a very big problem. But I mean, trust in Blizzard. I hope this time they'll be able to do something really well with Overwatch 2. I mean, with all the hype they've been putting out, I think there's a patch, not patch. There's a special release, a special event that they have after the next Overwatch League finals, I think. So hopefully everything goes well. With Overwatch 2. So, oh yeah, will you be playing Overwatch 2? I think that's one thing a lot of people would like to know as well. Like, will we see Oputo in Overwatch 2 be in as a content creator, as a professional player, you know?
I still love this game. I think it's it's hard to not play this game. Yeah,
True.
I used to play this game for professional, like right now. Right, but right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm focusing to just having fun for this game, and I feel like this game is the most fun right now for me.
It's very unique as a game because, like,
Yeah,
yeah, you don't find it anywhere else. You know, there isn't that.
but the problem is this game is very unique. So I want like on other game who compete with this game and like push this game harder to getting
Ah,
better. Yeah,
more competition.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, I think
That's what I mean.
that's very important. I think Valorant was like when they was teased, everyone was like, all right, Valorant is gonna change Overwatch. You
Yeah,
know, Valorant is gonna be a new contender, but then it's completely different games. So I think, yeah, we hopefully there's another Overwatch that comes out from another company. You know, hopefully Blizzard this time would be able to wake up. You know,
yeah.
it's like, all right, I have to improve this game. You know, it's been years since we got a new hero and stuff like that. But yeah, uh, so Overwatch 2 Oputo, we'll probably see you, you know, playing the game. You know, looking forward to it. And before we move on to the questions, the Q&A section, uh, what does Overwatch mean to you after this
Mm,
past 5 years?
I think it's I would call Overwatch is like the best time of my life. I think when I
Mm.
call it. If other people ask me what is about Overwatch, yeah, I would tell them it's like the best time of my life. Yeah.
Mm. Wow, short and sweet. And yeah, I think a lot of us can agree that, you know, Overwatch, you know, is probably also the best times of our life because, you know, the game is so unique. It creates so much, you know, opportunities for players all around the world. And then, you know, looking at your career and your experiences in the past 5 years, I think it's, you know, personally as well, it's a dream for so many players out there. You know, being able to represent your country so many times, being able to live your life as a content creator and also like a professional player. You know, being able to meet so many people. I think it's, you know, everyone looks at you and will be like, all right, this is the life that I would dream of having. So, you know, Overwatch as a game, I think it's a very, even though a lot of people shits on Overwatch, you know, Overwatch is a bad game, or why can't they buff this, why they can buff that. But I think like for a lot of people, and especially you as well, like, Overwatch is a game that will bring back a lot of memories. You know,
Mm.
like seeing how the game grew over the past 5 years, be it for good to better, you know, or from good to worse, it still has a lot of moments, you know, that we'll look back and be like, all right, this is fun. You know, this is something I played. This is, you know, I had a time in my life here. So that's really awesome to hear, you know. And coming from someone who has played since the start, I think this is also a very good message for like players that are upcoming, you know, to give this game a try. Who knows, you know, your life might change for the better, you know, being able to, you know, experience something that not many people like are able to, you know, grasp in a game like Overwatch. So yeah, we have actually done with all the questions I've actually prepared for you today. So we're gonna move on to the Q&A section, and we actually have a question from our viewers. So basically this question is from Pew, and he says, what support do you think is the easiest hero to play in ranked and to rank up?
Oh.
Yeah, so for example, Pew says that compared to Lucio, he thinks that Lucio is harder to play than Break. So that's the
Mm.
first question. And then we'll move on to the second question by him after this. So yeah, what do you think is the best support hero to play, to climb on?
Oh. I never have like the best character to climb because my mindset is about what is the best character you have to choose right now for the team.
Mm.
So, but if you want to climb and play only one character, and I will choose Ana
Mm.
because Ana can play like almost every situation, but it's not easy. It's just you can play every single like situation, but it's not the best for some
Mm.
situation. Yeah.
So I think Ana fits in. Ana can even fit in double shield, right? Like since you can nano the DPS and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
If your DPS has like potential to nano like Genji in
mhm.
double shield, I think it's work. But if your team don't have like nano boost target character, it's gonna be the worst
The worst
character
hero.
you pick. Yeah.
I see. So how about Lucio compared to Brick? Like which of these two heroes you think is harder to play? To you? Yeah.
For me, I think both character is the same level. But Lucio is harder because you need to pick when the team need to like going together and brawl. But Big is about protect someone.
I
So
see.
it's not the same thing.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
I actually have a personal question. Okay, I think over the past 2 years when this hero came out, a lot of people had many opinions based off it. All right, so wait, okay, Big Chat said okay, Lucio is harder than Brick, but so bringing it back to Brick. Okay, what are your thoughts on this hero? Having played the game from start to end, after they throw in Brick as a hero, what are your opinions on Brick? Like, do you think she's too strong? Do you think she's too weak? Do you think she's easy? Or do you think she's hard? Stuff like that. What are your opinions on Brick?
As a character, I love her. Not in game. As a character, I love her. But as like the heroes in game, I feel like they want her to be like the protector, right? Because before she came in Overwatch, a lot of players used Lucio to protect the healers, the
Sure.
support. Yeah, but Brick is like, oh, besides they see like, oh, we don't have the protector. We need to have someone who can work this job, and they create Brick. For me, I feel like it makes sense to have this kind of character, but I think her kit is too strong at some point. I feel like we don't need a lot of CC character in this game, but she has like two
That's true.
CC
And a shield.
and her ultimate is kind of broken because it make everything unkillable. Yeah.
I see.
So I feel like they need to nerf ultimate. Yeah, or just rework completely.
Hopefully she gets a rework in Overwatch too,
Yeah.
Since now you only have one tank. I don't think you have a Winston jumping in and getting stunned over and over again. But I mean, who knows,
Yeah, the community from like community developer they told us they're gonna remove stun from the kit. So I hope they change stun to knockback, so she has double knockback.
Honestly,
like
knockback sounds better.
It makes sense in Overwatch, but stun is, I feel like stun is the most thing that frustrate people in this game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, having McCree with a stun, McCree pretty much needs a lot of skill. Even now, McCree is very difficult for McCree to land the flashbang, but for Brig, it's just swing your mouse, hold right click, and you just press left click on random strangers, and then bam, you have a stun target. So yeah, I think that's also, stun in this game. It really brings out, it's not really FPS in that sense. It's more towards a brawl, which, not a lot of people really like after, goats and stuff like that. because we start to see so many brawl comps come out, and it's kind of like just run in, kill, very boring and stuff like that. So okay, there's a second part to the question as well. What role do you think is the easiest to climb on? Let's say tank, DPS, support, and also playing. Let me read. Playing as a flex queue in competitive game modes, I think support is the easiest. But what is your opinion? This is also from Pew.
I agree. From what I play right now, I play DPS and support, and I feel like support is more powerful and more impactful than DPS because you can keep your tank alive, and you can do some DPS sometime for the team, but not most of the time. And their ultimate is one of the impactful skill in the game.
That's true.
Yeah. For example, Nano Boost, Lally, and like I feel like support have the best ultimate in the game compared to other roles. Yeah.
Yeah, true. I think supports ultimates are like usually the game changers because you can have a nice graph, you can have a nice shatter, and all of a sudden they press Q and then nothing dies and they're like, all right, back to square one. And even back then when Mercy Res, was 6 men or 5 men, like you guys can get a really nice nano play, nice grab dragon, wow, and then press Qs, everyone comes back and they're like, all right, back to square one. So I think hopefully in Overwatch 2 they kind of, I wouldn't say nerf, but I think if they can improve the other roles to be as impactful, I think that would be hopefully better. I suppose maybe support's not being like overpowered role, in Overwatch 2 since there's gonna be one tank down. It's definitely gonna be easier, I think, but who knows? And
I feel like it's support in Overwatch 2 is gonna be harder roles, but still impactful.
true. I mean,
It's
less
just
shields
harder.
because there's
Yeah.
less shields and then there's
Yeah.
more DPS presence.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
The people who lazy to aim gonna be complaining a lot
That's true.
for
That's true.
support. Yeah.
Because now there's no Orisa shield to hide behind. Now you actually have to look around, start moving
And
your mouse.
protect yourself.
Yeah. Finally, LOS will be a thing. But okay. So we actually have a few more questions. This is coming from chat. From Vips. What is the biggest challenge to you as a streamer when it comes down to doing it as a full-time gig?
I don't call myself like full-time streamer because I have job before I come back to stream, right? But before I have a job, I stream full time. I think that the most challenging for me is how to make money to keep streaming every single month when the game is like no one watching this game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we have like small community in this game right now.
Mm.
So I need to gather a lot of people in this small community. How I gather them to watch me every single day. This is the most challenging for me right now. That's why I used to be like only play the rank, but right now I play the rank, and when I in queue, I'm review the WOD for them, so they watch me and learning from what I teach them. So and they come back and try to talk to me more about the game, like every single day. Yeah.
So basically, when they come back, not only are they able to watch, Overwatch played by someone possibly out of their leagues, but also be able to learn from them with their own gameplay. So I think that's really awesome, and definitely not easy, having to juggle between playing and teaching. And I also, and if I'm not wrong, you also do Overwatch League reviews, right? Like reviewing
Yeah,
matches and stuff. So I think that's really cool, being able to contribute back to the community in different ways, teaching. Not many people would be able to give free VOD reviews, honestly. So I think that's really awesome. And let's see, I think we still have a few more questions. And let's see. Okay, this is, I think this is a more very casual question, but we have Rip who asks, "How is your aim so good?"
I would like to say right now it's not that good compared to my peak performance, but when I have a good aim, I think I practice like 1 hour before I'm playing this game. I playing like aim trainer, especially Kovac. Yeah, Kovacs. I want to mention a person who teach me how to play Kovacs is Vital. He
Oh,
is
Vital.
Singaporean, yeah. He teach me how to play this aim trainer, and I know how to play by myself without him, without bother him. I used to bother him how to get better all the time, but right now I just practice by myself. Yeah, I think you need to how to say that, like you need to spend time with practice aim specifically outside the game if you want to have a good aim. You cannot like just playing rank and expect to have better aim every single day. Yeah, it's pretty hard because you need to focus how to use ulti properly, how to positioning properly, which character you need to play right now. It's impossible to focus on aim in the game if you want to have a good aim. So you need to practice aim specifically outside the game. Yeah.
I see. So basically, it's kind of like, playing badminton. You have to practice your drills before the game, before actually playing with someone else. So
Yeah.
everything comes in naturally. Okay. So
But you also need to know how to practice like the best your own way to practice, because some player have a good aim without playing aim trainer. They just practice in DM, custom game, something like that. You just need to find your own way and your routine. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So basically, find out your own routine to improve your aim
Yeah.
outside of playing Overwatch. So okay, let's see, we have a last. I think we have a last question. We have a last question from Easy Clap. So on a difficulty on a range of 1 being least difficult to 10 being the most difficult hero in this current meta. Okay, double bubble. Okay, let's see, double bubble and ball zen. I think that should be the current meta. I don't think. Okay, what do you think is the current meta now, Oputo? Then we'll go on
I
from there.
think it depends on
Region.
the server you're playing. Yeah. But in Korean it's double bubble and Legimbon Zenyatta. Yeah.
Okay, so let's use that since you have been playing Korea servers. So on a scale of 1 least difficult to 10 most difficult in this meta, double bubble and ball zen, where will you put Brick from a scale of 1 to 10?
Let me think. I think it's like 7.10 for me, because I playing bricks most of the time, and I feel like she is I can say like the easiest character I can play right now in support compared to Anna, Sen, Baptiste, and Mercy Lucio. Yeah, I feel like everything she can do is always impactful to the game, but she is not that easy to play because you need to manage how to recycle your heal pack. You need to keep using your chip to create your passive all the time. It's not that easy. I feel like Mercy is easier than her for me personally, because Mercy is like the most fun character in support for me.
That's true. You get to fly around pretty much more than everyone else. Okay, so 7 out of 10. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So we've actually overshot the interview timing. So thank you so much for being able to come onto this show. It's a really great honor to have you, be able to come up, share experiences, answer some of the questions that the community has, and personally coming from me, very happy to be able to talk to you like that. If you told me 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, it's Oputo, too out of my range. I'm just a rank 63 SR. But yeah, so happy to have you here today. I hope you had fun in the podcast. Being able to hopefully relive some of your memories. From the questions, and yeah, really happy to have you today. And do you have any final words to say to the viewers before we end this session?
I hope you guys keep playing this game.
So guys, you know what to do. Just play. Overwatch 2, believe.
Yeah,
But-
believe in Overwatch.
But yeah, all right. So we have actually come to the end of this session. So happy to have you here. Hope you have a great great streams. Your career. Looking forward to see you in Overwatch 2 as well. For those people, for viewers who want to know more about Puto, he does stream as well. He does, like he said, he does VOD reviews when he's off, off rank games. So do drop him a follow. The link's in the chat. Show him some support. He'll probably teach you things that you will never know, as a new player, or a player wanting to learn more about the game in depth. So yeah, do drop him a follow. Once again, Oputo, thank you for having you here, and yeah, hopefully we'll see more of you soon. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.